Hello, my name is Ryan, and for this video, I became a little bit. Into the Light has, for the most part, been a huge hit, and a much welcome addition to the current Destiny grind. It's arguably the best limited time event that we've ever had in the game, and while I feel mostly positive feelings towards it, there are a couple of head-scratcher decisions that don't make a lot of sense to me. And the hung jury's one of them. It really just doesn't seem to belong here. The whole idea is that Shaxx is opening up his armory to give us access to weapons that were deemed too powerful, too heretical, and had to be vaulted. So the Recluse makes sense. Midnight Coup makes sense. Mountaintop, Luna's Howl, all of those, they make perfect sense to me. But this is now the 7th iteration of the hung jury in just Destiny 2 alone. This ain't a banned weapon. This is the weapon they act like they can't get rid of, like they overstocked it. They're just trying to push it on everybody all the time. Sort of like a used car salesman trying desperately to move that Dodge Neon that's been sitting on the lot for 8 years. But all that being said, hung jury is, it's a really good scout rifle in PvP. Assuming you have one very specific perk on it. Otherwise, it's kind of garbo, like super long TTK, not really worth your time. Now, I don't really get down with scouts too much, to be completely honest. I do understand the appeal, and I don't hate on people who really dig the playstyle, right? Some folks just don't enjoy the stressful chaos of close quarters fighting, and they will avoid it if possible. Some folks are perfectly happy to work the perimeters of the maps and hold the lanes, taking pot shots at passers-by as a way of helping their teammates by softening up their targets. And there's really nothing wrong with that, if we're being honest. But personally, I don't care for playing that way. It kind of puts me to sleep. But I got a legitimate god tier shiny drop on the hung jury, even though I never attuned it, and I've never even completed the Arcite quest to be able to attune it. And yet, here it is. Yeah, a shiny with no distractions and box breathing. It's the roll that says, hey buddy, the world is a scary place. Don't go out there. Stay right here. Stay right behind these optics. Just live your whole life looking down the sights of this weapon and avoid the scary outside world where there are things like hand cannons and shotguns and SMGs. Ugh, I get the shivers just thinking about it. I joke. But that really is what this roll is all about, right? No distractions basically eliminates incoming flinch after you've been aiming down the sights for a short duration, and box breathing increases the precision damage of your next bullet if you aim down the sights for a short duration as well. That box breathing bullet turns the hung jury into a 3-tap kill, basically reducing the time to kill by 25%. That is a massive change to the TTK and makes this weapon a laning monster. Consider an open lane that you need to cross like open waters, and hung jury is the shark in the water. You just gotta hope and pray it's not out there somewhere. It's like trying to swim from Alcatraz across the San Francisco Bay. And if you don't get that reference, in recent years, there have been great white sightings in the bay, and this is literally at the ferry from Alcatraz back to the mainland. If there's a hung jury in the lobby, an open lane is a very dangerous place to be. So if you are a scout rifle lover, if you enjoy this playstyle, then the hung jury is literally a must for you. It's going to turn you into a verifiable threat, especially on larger maps. A couple of things you'll notice in the gameplay. First is the number of assists that I get. It's a lot. There's a match in here on Fortress where at the end of the game, it's like, hey man, congrats on your 40 defeats. You look like such a boss at the top of that leaderboard with a 40 next to your name. Truth is, I only actually killed 29 people. But since you're tagging people for 107 damage as they cross really fast through the lane, it sets your teammates up to have a duel with a target that basically has half of their health already gone. So you end up racking up a ton of assists just by taking a shot here and a shot there, since your one shot is going to absolutely shred a Guardian's shields in a single primary bullet. And your shield's getting popped, it's got like a big psychological effect on a player too. It's jarring. Screen flashing red, you feel suddenly compelled to hide and take cover and recover your health. It almost makes you feel like you're critically wounded, even though you still have like 120 hit points left to spare. So you'll see me just taking pot shots all the time in the gameplay and getting assists for it very, very frequently. The second thing you might notice in the gameplay is that my KD shot up like 60% playing like this. When you're playing the role of the lane controller, it's actually a really effective way to boost your stats. Like my KD during this play session was close to 3.0, and that's way higher than it normally is. Now, here's where I want to caution you, right? A high KD is sort of an intoxicating stat. Seeing that number go up can feel really good, and you can abandon all other objectives for the sake of just focusing on keeping that number going up. Don't friggin' do it! There's nothing wrong with playing like this, but you absolutely have to continue to be a team player. Help lock down lanes that lead to capture points so your teammates can capture them freely. Watch over the heavy ammo spawn and keep baddies off of it. Provide cover fire for your teammates as you see them moving through dangerous lanes. That's really how an absolute boss plays scout rifles well. I've got nothing against the gamer that can be an effective Overwatch style player who watches over the objectives and their teammates effectively. I welcome a teammate like that on my team. So make sure you don't get hyper fixated on the self-serving KD boosting playstyle. Remember that you can be the tide that raises all ships on your team. Because at the end of the day, there isn't a single soul out there besides yourself that actually cares about your KD. No one actually cares. So keep a healthy perspective. Just a cautionary detour in the video here. So to bring this around full circle, the hung jury. It's a really weird choice for Bungie to include. It's not really all that different from its previous iterations with a couple of perk exceptions, but for PvP specifically, the god roll remained exactly the same. There's nothing this new hung jury can do in PvP that it couldn't already do before. Some different perks to achieve the same outcome maybe on B and C tier rolls, but I find this hung jury to be boring, uninspired, and sadly, a waste of a spot in the Brave arsenal. This would have been a great opportunity to include like a heretical weapon like the Aaron Till, or a fan favorite like the Breach Light, or to do a scout rifle that had a lot of love, you could do the Patron of Lost Causes. I can't help but wonder why Bungie decided to go this route when there are multiple versions of the hung jury already in the game right now that aren't sunset and can still be used, and with similar if not the same roles. But either way, I hope that you have excellent luck hunting down whatever role tickles your fancy. Hopefully your RNG is decent like mine and you can get the role that you want quickly and move on to the other more exciting offerings in the Brave Arsenal. Thanks as always for tuning into the video today. I genuinely appreciate each and every one of you. If you enjoyed the conversation, then feel free to leave a like on the video, as that's the best free way to support the content here on YouTube, and consider subscribing for additional Destiny 2 content. Be warm and well fed, my friends, and I do hope to catch you in the Crucible.